Sorry, here is a little bit windy. So, on today's program, it's windy. Just give me some minutes. As you can see, I'm outside. Let me show you guys our place is being renovated. Workers are still working. Job is going. So, I'm on the street of Duisburg, Germany. Um, I'm on the street. So, let's walk a little and we'll discuss Russia and Ukraine. So, on today's program, I know that the weather is a little bit windy. I hope my voice is coming out. So, let's discuss. Just watch out these nice designs here. So, as I'm on the street, I would like us to discuss Ukraine and Russia. Most of you are seeing things that are going on around that part of the world. That is the politics of the West and NATO politics. The decision makers of the West. Now, on the Solidar part of Ukraine that Russians has captured, and the Western media are changing their narratives that those areas are not of importance, that it's of no use, like playing down on those on everything that happened there. But knowing quite well that lots of lives were wasted, destroyed, lost in that part of the world. All the whole reinforcement that was pushed to those areas, mid grander, grounded all of them. Dead bodies are flying every part of the world. I mean, every part of that particular area. And they just said that it's of no use, it's of no interest. But I said, people were killed, massacred, dead bodies lying like ant and animal every corner. So yesterday I published a video showing the American aid that came to Ukraine. Guys, is that not a joke? I don't know how many of you that watch that video that I published. Was it not joke like playing with some people's brain by supplying such a rubbish equipment? If I use the word rubbish equipment is what America is calling billions of dollars of military support and aid to Ukraine. Take a look at the type of equipment they supply to Ukraine. All of them are scrap, rubbish that they don't even know where to waste. All of them are being pushed to Ukraine. And Ukrainians, their politicians are using them just to make the dollar printing feel happy. The accounts outside Europe is growing by the day. I believe all those billions that are being thrown out in the name of military aid to Ukraine are being divided, and the remaining one is being used to send crap of military equipment to Ukraine. Scrap, rubbish that even the Afghanistan won't even use it to defend themselves. It's something that are being sent to Ukraine. Let me give you people some analysis. What I figure out. I believe the war that is going on in Ukraine is not against Ukraine nor Russia, but somebody lobbied for that war to take place. I believe it's Poland. Because if you come into Europe, the most strongest army in Europe today is Ukraine and Russia. And there are some proverbs that Germans normally use. They says the best way to fight the strongest armies in the world is to bring two of them to fight each other. And these people are residing within Poland. Yes, America was playing their politics in Ukraine. And I see Russians as people that work with patience. They don't rush in taking action. Russians have patience in everything. And I know they believe one day they will still regain Ukraine in their own domain. But somebody was behind, poking the bear for this thing to happen. Because Poland knows if Russia regain the control over Ukraine, they will form the most powerful military in the entire Europe combined. That even though United States can't even fight them, even though you add Turkey among their fighters, they can't withstand. If you see how Ukrainians are fighting, if you see the zeal in Ukrainian war, you will understand that if Ukraine integrate itself into Russian military affairs, they will become unbeatable on this Europe. On this Europe, as far as Europe landmass is concerned, nobody can dictate for them. That's why Poland did 1+1, and they find out that with these people around them, surrounding them, even though Romania and Bulgaria joined Poland, nobody can do anything in those areas. They lobby for America to push Ukraine to poke the bear so that they will reduce themselves on their own. As you can see it, are they not succeeding? All the home military supports that these guys are promising Ukraine. Let me cross these guys. There are big boys on the streets. You know? There are big boys on the streets. Let me cross. You see them? They are the big guys. So let me continue. They are promising Ukraine to give them support, military support, everything. Now the war has broke out. Now Ukrainians are being grounded. What type of equipment are they giving to Ukraine? From the entire West, all they are spending on Ukraine is scrap. Look, scrap things that are made for museum. Equipment that can't even withstand 9mm pistol is what they are sending to meet Grander. And we are using media. Just how can you use media to win a war that is taking place on the ground? They are using media to fight Russia, while Russians are on the ground grounding Ukrainians. And the Ukrainian politicians, they are not after their citizens. They don't bloody care. They are the most corrupt country in Europe. Ukraine has been the central of money laundering in Europe, known by all for many years. So all of a sudden, America want to turn Zelensky to Thor. You know Thor, the one that fly with hammer. They are trying to make him the Thor of Europe that will stand the Russians, that are pushing the Russians back. All these things is wash, whitewashing, using Ukraine for the last time to do whatever they like. Look at Biden family. Biden family has become billionaires. If I said billionaires, they are now billionaires because of Ukraine. You have to say thank you to Ukraine, because if Ukraine know nothing, they know how to do money laundering. They know how to, all sorts of corruption is going on. They block the whole opposition parties. They block all the whole opposition television stations only to hide, only not to reveal the information that is flying. But this war is about to end. I know that Bakhmut, Russians have already entered Bakhmut. The media are trying to change the narrative. All of a sudden, Western media are now talking about documents found in America, something that nobody cares about it before. All they care is Ukraine. Now that things are falling apart in Ukraine, they are changing the narrative, trying to turn people's idea and brain towards something irrelevant. All these things are the game of the West. They use you, they dump you. But one thing I will tell you people is this: Zelensky is going to run. Zelensky will dump that country and run away after milking all of them. Imagine you said that Solidar is of no use for Ukraine or has no room or any values in this military operation. Why then wasting the entire military of Ukraine? I am telling you guys, if you watch how this war is going on, you do 1+1 and figure out that something is in the making to destroy the Ukrainian military. You can tell me whatever you like, but I'm telling you the truth. You know that Bakhmut, or Zolidar, is of no use. Why didn't you withdraw your military to defend Bakhmut or defend other useful areas of Ukraine territory? No, they take reinforcements from a different area, they push them to that area, and mid-grander of the Russians, we are grounding all of them. Do you see the mortar that Russia brought into that battlefield that is pushing up to 500 kilo artillery bomb that busted all the whole defense of Solidar? That vehicle is going to Bakhmut. I said it that Russia still have a lot that they have not revealed to anybody. They said that this artillery vehicle break the whole defense of Solidar under how many hours? Everything breaks down. Yes. Now, Ukraine on their streets, they are grabbing anybody they see. All their youths, if they see you on the street, they grab you and send you to the war front. Ask yourself, what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? Before 1990, yes, before 1990, this area that Russians are fighting now is their territory, belongs to Russia. Yes. And if you follow the history of what is going on in Ukraine. I followed one man on YouTube. I have forgotten his name. I could have mentioned it here. You go to the program, you listen to what they're saying. But I know that if you want to watch his video, if you go to Diran, D-T-H-E, then Diran. I think they write it somehow, but they pronounce it Diran, you know. If you go to that channel, you will watch that professor. I believe he's a Russian or Ukrainian, but he's an American citizen that worked with the father of President Bush during his tenure. He was special advisor to Russian affairs. That man exposed the problem of today. The man says during the time of Soviet, before Soviet collapsed, and it's like they know that Soviet Union is going to collapse. And the people that were in power, all area is Georgians and Ukrainians. The generals that has power to say a lot of things under the Soviet, from these areas of Ukraine and Georgia. Even though this former president, for the former leader that died, is from Georgia. And that professor said it. He said that these people were using pen, taking over Russian territories. That on a normal circumstance, Crimea belongs to Russia. But those generals signed Crimea to Ukraine. And Russians has no mouth in government. Yeah, most of their people are not upstairs there to fight for their right. And they were using pen, signing these areas to various corners of Ukraine, knowing quite well that it belongs to Russia. It's as if, let me give you an example. If you watch China today, during the time that China was on the ground, that China has nothing, the entire Asians, they seized the Chinese territories, island and everything, both Japanese and other Asians. The Chinese are growing up now. What are they doing? They are going back, seeking for their territories. And the Western media are telling you, the Chinese, because they have money, they want to take over the whole world. It's a lie. This war that the Ukrainians are fighting is for me, is a lost war. And Ukraine and Poland is now happy that they have lesser problem within their borders. It means Russians help them to ground the population and the well-trained and equipment of Ukraine defense has been destroyed, all of them. Everything you are seeing now is just church rat. I don't know whether you are following some telegrams. You see the equipment that was sent to the Ukrainian territory from by the West. You see that all of them are being teared apart as if it's paper. But Ukrainian equipment, some of them, yeah, you may hit them, but they are still intact. But Western ones is paper tiger, paper tiger. And if this war continues, are you seeing the mobilization that Poland is doing? Poland is not doing those mobilization to fight Russia. Poland is doing those mobilization to take Lviv. Mark my word. But I will put a word. But they may try to take Lviv. You see those military that are massing within Belarus. Huh? They are not there to take Kiev. I'm telling you this. They are not there to take Kiev. They are there to defend Ukraine. You may say that I must be stupid, but watch my word. Let Poland enter Lviv. You will see battlefield. You will see heavy battle. You will see that this war will change. Both Ukrainians and Russians will now collide, and they will wipe Poland up to. In short, do you know what Putin said? He said that NATO should withdraw all their infrastructure from all the former Soviet territories. You may ask, how can that happen? It's impossible. America will not obey. They will not follow the order. They will not follow the Russian dictating. But let me tell you something. Poland is going to destroy NATO. And the thing that will destroy it because of Lviv. You see Lviv? Go and check Belarus, which people bordered Belarus. It's Poland. If Poland enter Lviv, because do you know why Russia will deal with Poland? After Second World War, this Lviv that Poland is seeking for was balanced. Soviet Union took Lviv, put it inside Russia, inside Soviet, and they took German territory and give it to Poland to balance the equation. And most of you may recall that Poland is also seeking for 13 or how many trillions of dollars in war reparation of Second World War. Poland is still holding some part of German as their payment for that war. And now they are demanding for trillions of dollars, holding German territory, and still going back to take Lviv, that the whole issues has been settled. Dear, if America still, well, maybe they want to destroy Poland. Maybe, because America don't bloody care. All they do is to use everybody as wall to defend themselves. These people they're calling themselves NATO. Has America ever go to war and die on their behalf? Dream again. They will never do it. Rather, they will push these people to go and die on behalf of fiat currency, money that has no value, money that has nothing. Yes, they're printing dollar, 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 and dollar is the capital of corruption in the whole planet of the earth. And if this war ends, if this war ends, dollar dominance is ending, hegemon is ending, European economy is ending too, because Russia will not longer work in the normal terms that they work with Europeans. And Europeans has used this Ukraine war to reveal themselves and their positions against Russia. They are going to pay for it, because all this European economy you are seeing that was booming, you know that anything booming economy, there is something behind it. Yes. And the only capital that is behind it is raw materials. The whole raw materials that made European economy to boom comes from Russia, and they are not going to have it again. So this war that is going on in Ukraine is for the purpose, only to destroy the two tigers that are threatening NATO. Yeah. But Russia, following the things we are seeing, the type of equipment they are moving to Belarus, oh boy, these guys, I believe, has been preparing for this war to fight America in Europe, I believe since 90s, because equipment is too much. Equipment is too much. And the Russians are outmatching the entire NATO in military production. Yes, the equipment is SS. Look, have you watched the ground of Ukrainian territory where they fought this war? You can't even measure 0 point something meter where artillery never hit, and still they have enough for the entire Europe. Well, I know that the next step that we follow now is to sanction all the whole countries that are cooperating with Russia, all the whole countries, both Africa and Chinese. Well, Americans have already started sanctioning Chinese chip making companies so that American chip equipment shouldn't go to China. The next thing, and I heard that America have started dictating to African countries to distance themselves from Russia and China. It's not negotiate, dictating for them. I also watched a video where Prince, Prince Charles' children are discussing Africa as their personal property. These two children that was born yesterday are now seeing Africa as their private property. But all these things are about to collapse as soon as this war ends. And all this dictation, I wrote to Russian defense ministry. I told them that this war that Europe and America are colliding against them, yeah, they may withstand it with heavy cost. I mean, Russians. But if they want to succeed, if they want to succeed and get momentum, freedom, and start dictating things, terms, and everything, Russia should choose Nigeria. Russia should choose Nigeria to help Nigeria to develop their military industrial complex, transfer some military technology to Nigeria. Because if you watch African map, go and watch American and European military base. Let's call it NATO base around Africa. They are surrounding Nigeria. They are surrounding, even they are in Ghana. They are surrounding Nigeria with military base. Yes, bases all over Nigeria. Russia should choose Nigeria because Nigeria is the one of the strongest artillery group in the world. Yes, many may say that, but Boko Haram, forget that one. If you come in terms of military, artillery, not with the Fulani in charge. Yeah, Fulani will not remain forever and ever, you know. And even though Peter Obi, I also try to meet him live on air where I will be able to call in to ask him all these promises that he's making, telling Nigerians a lot of things. How can you make it permanent? It's not Nigerians enjoying government under 8 years and they will go back to punishment. You get me? How can you make it permanent so that whosoever that enters, Nigerians will benefit? So, and for Nigerians to benefit, you must cooperate with world powers. Russians need to help Nigeria because Nigeria, let me tell you, my people, around the time that war broke out in Sierra Leone and Liberia, both in Congo, Nigeria invested a lot of money in those areas and resources and military personnel to bring peace in those territories. After the Sierra Leonean War, Liberia War, Nigeria quenched it. Almost 98% of the military was Nigerians. In Liberia, in Sierra Leone War, Nigeria provided up to 80% of the people that fought in that areas with their finance. Dear America, start calling the Britain. Are you not seeing the next elephant growing in Africa that will challenge our authority in Africa? And they start penetrating Nigerian military, CIA, to dismantle Nigerian military from inside. Yes, they tried their best. It's normal. They normally do it. They did it to the Soviet. They did it to the Russians, but Russians later regained themselves. I believe that if Russia start cooperating with Nigeria by giving olive branch to Nigeria, telling them to cooperate with each other, Nigeria will embrace it and it will benefit Nigeria and Nigeria will regain their independence. Don't forget that Russian president said that there was a time they nearly become a colony to the West. Everything they do is being managed by the Western countries. Until the first sanction fall on them, they now know that if these people want to cripple them, they will cripple them under 24 hours. And he said that from that day, they start working to detach themselves from the West. Never knew, never believed, never trust themselves that they can do it. But look at them today. The Western masters are collapsing, and the Russian backward developers are now selling. So, on Nigerian affairs, if Nigeria collide with these people, start developing their own military, stop importing, yeah, you can still import, but you start developing a lot of things that will give defense, you know. And also, South Africa is there. South Africa is one of their allies, but they need to win Nigeria. They need to, not that Nigeria will become their vessel, but a strong partnership in the sense that some technologies need to be transferred to Nigeria so that Nigeria will be able to stand and develop themselves militarily, you know, militarily. So that if these forces want to threaten Russia in Africa, Russia has a very powerful ally in Africa that will be able to cooperate with them. You see how Europe operates. Europe, NATO trained all NATO and non-NATO allies within Europe to work in tandem with American military. It then means Americans fighting in any part of the world. They can pick Ukrainian soldiers and fix him there. You know what to do and how to do it. So that is what Russia, they call it interoperability. I don't know how to pronounce it very well. The, Russians need to develop such a system. All their allies, pull their military, train them on how to use every equipment, everything, fight like Russians in any part of the world they find themselves. If you push, you may push like a 500 Wagner group in Nigeria. They will collide with Nigeria. Nigerians already know what to do and how to fight the war. Such a thing is what Russia needs to start developing because that is what is bringing headache. That's why America is sitting, drinking their coffee, and allowing their vessels to do their work. If Russia start doing all these things, follow the footsteps of the West, you will see that things will start correcting itself. That's all I have for you, my people. Thank you very much. And also join my membership program because very soon I will be streaming from my studio, and it will be only for those that subscribed, not subscribers that join the membership of Mirror African TV. Become a member. If you click on the membership to join the member, you will see Cairo membership, you will see Lagos membership, you will see. Choose the one you like, and let's move forward. And the more you do, as I'm doing this video, the more you like it, share it, comment, it will help me to grow and motivate me to do more videos like this. I will still come back to discuss and analyze the issues. I just want to go and buy something. I said, let me stroll around and do this little video. Thank you very much. And bye.